let's talk about something that happens to almost every investor. It's not a market crash, it's not a bad stock pick, it's a wall. A secret wall that stops most people right before their money is about to do something incredible.
Okay, so get this. A mind-blowing 90% of regular investors never actually get to six figures in their accounts. And you know why? It's not because they lose it all. Nope. It's because they just quit. They give up at a very specific, very predictable point in their journey.
And this is it. It's called the $50,000 wall. And here's the thing you absolutely have to understand. This isn't a financial barrier, it's a mental one. It's that moment where you've done everything right. You've been saving like a machine, but your portfolio's growth just feels flat, boring even. And so you lose steam right before the magic of compounding is about to kick in and change everything. And this really gets to the psychology of it, right? I mean, think about it. When you've only got $5,000 saved up, a $500 gain is a 10% jump. That feels amazing, like you're a genius. But when you have $50,000, that same $500 is just a 1% blip. It barely even registers. This is what's known as the boring middle, and it's a total motivation killer. That feeling of stagnation, of being stuck in the boring middle, makes this whole stage incredibly tough. And it pushes us right into a really dangerous mindset. This idea of the high-income poverty trap, where we start chasing the feeling of being rich instead of, actually getting rich. And this lays out the battle perfectly. Over on one side, you've got the fake rich. High income, sure, but even higher spending. They're all about the status symbols. The fancy car, the expensive watch. They look rich right now. And on the other side? Well, that's you, the quietly wealthy in training. You're focused on assets. You're trying to be rich tomorrow. But man, watching them can really make you start to doubt your plan. This just nails that little voice in your head, doesn't it? You've been doing all the right things, being disciplined, saving your money, but you don't feel any different. You look at your account, then you look at someone else leasing a new BMW, and you can't help but think, is all this sacrifice really gonna pay off? Is this even working? So it all leads to this sort of gut check moment. You have to be really honest with yourself and ask this question. Are you really in this for the long haul? For the slow and steady build? Or were you secretly just hoping for some kind of get-rich-quick thing to happen? Because how you answer that changes everything.
But here's the good news. Here's the secret. If you're feeling that frustration, it actually means you are right on the edge of a massive breakthrough. Seriously, the entire physics of how your wealth is built is about to change. Your money is about to get a job.
See, building wealth really happens in two stages. Phase 1 is what I call the heavy lifting. In the early days, pretty much 100% of your growth comes from what you save. The market's help is tiny. But phase 2, and this happens right around that $50,000 wall, is the pivot. This is where things get really interesting because your savings and the market's returns start fighting over which one is making you more money.
I love this way of thinking about it. At this stage, your money has finally clocked in for its first day at a part-time job. It's not running the company yet, not by a long shot. But for the first time ever, it's actually showing up and helping you do the work. It's pulling its own weight.
Okay, so you're at this pivot point. How do you actually get through the boredom and the doubt and scale that wall? Well, let's get tactical. Here's a super simple blueprint to break through.
It really comes down to 3 rules, and they're simple, but they are game changers. First, you have to actively, consciously ignore the fake rich. Remind yourself that your boring old portfolio is way more powerful than their shiny, depreciating car. Second, automate everything. Set it and forget it. Make your savings and investments happen without you even thinking about it. And finally, you have to learn to love the boring. Stop looking for the next big thing and start celebrating the small, steady wins. That's where real wealth is built.
And if you ever need motivation, just look at this chart. This is the math that proves why you don't quit. With a 10% return, a $5,000 portfolio makes you about $500 a year. But look at that leap. A $50,000 portfolio makes you $5,000 a year. That's your money's new part-time job paying you a pretty sweet salary. And let's just put that number in perspective for a second, because this is huge. For a lot of people, $5,000 is a whole month's salary. It's a mortgage payment. It's an incredible vacation. And it's money that you earned completely passively, literally while you were sleeping. That is the prize waiting for you on the other side of the wall. So we'll end on this. All your hard work, all that saving, that's what got you to this point. But it's not what's going to get you to the next level. From here on out, the game is about patience. It's about trusting the process and letting compound interest start doing the heavy lifting for you. The only question left is, Are you willing to stick around long enough to watch it happen?